Since 2010, here in anthropology, I've been working with a group of postgraduate students researching tuberculosis. And the various methods we used in that research led to a lot of output that was very, very visual. We put in an application to the Wellcome Trust for one of their international engagement, community engagement projects, and we were awarded the funds. Soon after we received the Wellcome Trust grant, we put a tender out to the artistic community. A very broad tender that worked under several themes. And Refiloe Gava, this absolutely magnificent Cape Town urban designer, came forward with the concept of Wear Your TB. And she's taken images of TB under the microscope, medication that's used to treat TB, and she's screen printed it onto fabric and turned it into the most beautiful garment.
What I really loved about Swallowing the World was that the subject matter, tuberculosis, it really scared me. I knew that I knew nothing about it, and that was the thing that I really needed to get out of my comfort zone and do something that was going to have an impact beyond just myself.
Swallowing the World is a phrase from a Salman Rushdie novel, Midnight's Children. And in the book, he says that if you wish to know somebody's life, you need to swallow their world. To just know one person's life, you need to swallow their world. And I was fortunate to have a wonderful young graduate student, Karina Traits, who was working around food and medication and TB, who was looking very much about swallowing and ingesting into the body. And TB is ingested and swallowed and breathed into the body. And she used his metaphor of swallowing the world. And it was such a powerful metaphor that we've used it to frame the entire project, the broader project of Swallowing the World, where we've engaged with artists.
In the workshops, Helen talking about how people struggle to understand TB and to get over the stigma attached to TB because it's not really information that is easily digestible or accessible. And you know, she spoke about it would be so awesome if you could just wear your TB. It's this airborne disease in any case, it's all around us. And I was like, that's exactly it. You know, if we call our range Wear Your TB, then, you know, we can get the message out there through fashion.
I'm a registered nurse by profession, and I was working in a private dialysis unit in Cape Town. When I became ill, I went back to the professor in charge of the unit where I was working, and he took one look at the X-ray and he said to me, Pat, I have to ask you to leave the unit right away, please, because you have got tuberculosis. It was arranged for me to be admitted to hospital where I was put into isolation. And it was quite strange to be a patient instead of being the nurse looking after the patient. So it also gave me a totally different outlook. And how important it is for medical staff especially to feel and to be compassionate with their patients. And what can I do to just make life a little bit easier for her? Instead of saying, there are your tablets, drink them.
The thing about tuberculosis is that a lot of the research happens behind these scientists' labs where there's no access. So I kind of took some stock imagery and used that as my inspiration for my garments. I then created patterns. So it's a whole play in repetition of shapes, putting them on a layout and repeating that layout, finding different ways to place things so that it makes sense. It was amazing because it kind of looked, the blood itself looked like flowers and it looked really pretty in the original image. And I thought, you know, this would be a really great way to create something that's really beautiful and consumable, because at the end of the day, people have to consume all of this information. And I've got to package it in a way that they want to engage with it. And the best way to do that is through fashion and color.
TB demands immediate reactions. There's populations out there being devastated by the ravages of TB.
It doesn't choose who it's going to attack.
And people in 2017 should not be dying from tuberculosis. And my dad always said the only way we can be a better people is if we use the arts as a vehicle for therapy.